Welcome to breezy, sleepy science. Tonight, we aren't gazing at the cosmos above, but journeying into the hidden galaxy contained within your own mind. This soft 3-pound organ holds more connections than every star in our Milky Way, neural network glowing like stars within its folds. Thoughts ignite, memories flow, and every feeling you've ever known is etched into living tissue. Neuroscience is our guide to exploring this inner space. It reveals that each new skill you learn physically reshapes your brain's landscape, that remembering an event subtly alters its record, like an artist adding new layers to a painting, and that even in your deepest slumber, your mind is hard at work, cleansing, repairing, and weaving the silent tapestries of your dreams. If you find comfort in these gentle explorations, please like this video and subscribe to Breezy Sleepy Science. Sharing a reflection in the comments also helps other wandering minds find their way here. One peaceful thought at a time. For now, let everything else fade. Allow your breath to slow. Let the tension in your shoulders release, and let the profound mystery of consciousness unfold within you, like a sky full of stars behind your eyes. If you're ready, let's begin. Your brain possesses a greater number of neural links than there are suns in our galaxy. The night heavens contain hundreds of billions of stars, yet within the mere 3 pounds of tissue inside your skull resides an even more immense and intricate cosmos. Your mind is home to roughly 86 billion neurons, and each one branches out to form thousands of contacts. These connection points, known as synapses, reach a staggering figure in the trillions. Some estimates suggest over 100 trillion. Every single synapse is a tiny gateway where signals can jump from one cell to the next, directing the currents of thought, memory, and feeling. When you picture a loved one's face or listen to a favorite song, it isn't a solitary neuron working, but a vast symphony of them firing in perfect harmony. In this way, you carry a personal galaxy inside you, a private cosmos of shimmering lights, more elaborate than the Milky Way and in a constant state of change. Neurons communicate using miniature bursts of electricity. Every sensation you feel, every idea that crosses your awareness, depends on a language of voltage and chemistry. Neurons, the brain's core cells, converse through action potentials, sudden surges of energy that travel down their long, thin arms. These impulses arrive at the synapse, the narrow gap where two cells almost meet. There, the electrical surge transforms into a chemical message. Molecules named neurotransmitters are released into the space and lock onto receptors of the neighboring cell, prompting it to fire. This elegant dance occurs on a microscopic scale. Yet, across billions of cells, it builds your perception, your memories, and even your sense of who you are. The song of a bird at dawn, the flavor of your morning drink, the recollection of an old friend, all of it is built from these sparks leaping across the vast, silent forest of your neurons with a speed and reliability no machine can match. A single thought can outpace a race car. When you choose to move your hand, the command must travel from your brain's motor cortex, down your spinal column, and into your muscles. That command is an electrical impulse racing along axons, the long fibers of neurons. In some neural pathways, these impulses exceed 200 miles per hour, faster than a top-tier race car. This incredible velocity comes from a fatty layer called myelin that wraps the axon. Myelin forces the signal to leap forward in rapid jumps, a mechanism termed saltatory conduction, making transmission vastly more efficient. Without it, thinking would be sluggish. With it, your reflexes are swift. Your speech happens in real time, and your body responds to your will almost instantly. A simple choice, made in a flash, is carried by signals moving quicker than any vehicle you could drive. Your brain consumes about 1/5 of your body's total energy. Despite accounting for only about 2% of your body's weight, your brain is metabolically demanding. It uses roughly 20% of all the calories your body burns, even while you are at complete rest. Neurons are expensive to maintain. Every action potential, each chemical release, requires fuel in the form of glucose and oxygen. Billions of tiny molecular pumps work non-stop, restoring balance after every flicker of activity. This is why mental fatigue is a real physical feeling. Even with your body still, your brain is consuming resources at a prodigious rate. Evolution concentrated such immense energy in the cranium because the advantages planning, language, imagination far outweighed the costs. The brain's hunger is so great that during periods of starvation, your entire metabolism shifts to keep it nourished. Every idea, every dream, every plan for the future has been powered by this relentless, energy-consuming fire. The human brain continues maturing well into your third decade. For many years, science held that brain development was mostly complete by childhood. But contemporary brain imaging has uncovered a more nuanced reality. The human brain is still under construction throughout adolescence and into the mid-20s. During this time, the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for judgment, self-regulation, and future planning, continues to mature. Simultaneously, the brain trims away unused synaptic connections, carving itself into more streamlined and effective circuits. This remodeling process helps explain why teenagers can often be impulsive and drawn to risk. The brain's emotional centers are fully online, but the regulatory systems are still finishing their development. Far from being a static object, the brain is a living sculpture, shaped by both biology and life experience well into adulthood. By the time this pruning and strengthening is complete, each brain bears the unique signature of the path it has traveled. Memories are not filed in one location, but distributed across widespread networks. When you recall your childhood home, your brain does not pull a single file from a cabinet. Instead, pieces of that experience are scattered across many different regions. The scent of the floorboards might reside in the olfactory cortex. The color of the walls is held in visual areas. The sound of laughter is stored in auditory pathways. Even the feeling of comfort is encoded within emotional circuits. To remember the home, your brain must weave these fragments back together, reassembling them into a coherent whole. This distributed storage makes memory resilient. If one area is harmed, other traces might remain. But it also explains why memories can feel incomplete or change over time. You are not replaying a recording. You are reconstructing a mosaic, pulling together sensations, emotions, and details from a network that spans the entire landscape of your mind. Every time you access a memory, you modify it slightly. Memory is not a fixed record. Each act of remembering makes the memory malleable again. While it is active, new feelings, current thoughts, or external suggestions can gently reshape it. When the memory is stored once more, it carries these new imprints, like a piece of clay put back on the wheel with fresh details added. Over years, the story you tell yourself about an event may drift from what truly occurred. Two people remembering the same shared moment may describe it quite differently, not because either is dishonest, but because memory is a living, dynamic process. This shifting nature of recall means your past is not a static archive, but a living narrative quietly rewritten across the years by your present self. In a way, every memory is a blend of history and imagination woven together. Your brain rewires itself every time you learn something new. Learning is not just gathering information. It is physically changing your brain's structure. Each new skill or experience sparks the creation of new synapses, fortifies existing connections, and sometimes prunes others away. A novice pianist, clumsily practicing scales, is building fresh pathways that become smoother with repetition. A traveler learning a new language is weaving new circuits in hearing and memory regions. Even something as simple as memorizing a new commute alters your neural geography. This capacity to adapt is called neuroplasticity, and it continues throughout your entire life. It is the reason stroke patients can sometimes recover lost abilities as other brain areas take over the work. It is why lifelong learning can keep the mind sharp into old age. Your brain is never a finished product. It is perpetually under construction. A living sculpture shaped by your experiences, rewired with each passing day. Sleep is when your brain cleans itself of metabolic waste. At night, when you descend into deep sleep, your brain begins its essential housekeeping. During waking hours, neurons work tirelessly, producing waste byproducts. If left alone, these substances accumulate, clouding your thinking and weakening memory. But during sleep, the glymphatic system, a network of channels surrounding the brain, flushes cerebrospinal fluid through the tissue. This cleansing wash carries away toxins, including proteins associated with Alzheimer's disease. The process is like a quiet nightly river flowing through the brain, purifying and restoring. Time-lapse of stars, implying cleansing flow without it, waste builds up and mental function suffers. This is a key reason even one night of poor sleep leaves you feeling mentally foggy. Sleep is not a pause from life, but a vital act of maintenance. A time when your brain restores itself so it can face a new day. To sleep is to let your mind quietly scrub itself clean. Dreams might be your brain practicing for future possibilities. Why do we dream? One compelling theory is that dreams are simulations, trial runs for real-world challenges. In dreams, you might confront threats, navigate unfamiliar terrains, or solve puzzles, as if your brain were testing strategies for waking life. Another idea is that dreams weave memories together, blending today's events with fragments of the past, shaping them into a broader life story. This could help you integrate new experiences into the ongoing narrative of your identity. Some researchers even propose that dreams ignite creativity by linking ideas that rarely connect during the day. Whatever their true purpose, dreams show us that the brain never stops imagining. Even in the quiet of night, your mind generates vivid worlds, stories, and experiments spun from your deepest networks of thought. They are proof that imagination is unceasing, a light that glows even in darkness. There are more glial cells than neurons in your brain. When people imagine the brain, they often think of neurons, the star-shaped cells that fire with tiny sparks. But neurons are only one part of the story. For every neuron, there are many glial cells, outnumbering them by a significant margin. For a long time, glia was seen as simple support cells, the glue that held the brain together. We now know they are essential partners. Some glial cells form myelin, the insulation that lets signals travel faster. Others guide new neurons to their proper places, clear away debris, or regulate the chemical environment around synapses. Astrocytes, named for their star-like shape, even help control blood flow to active regions, making sure neurons get enough fuel. Far from being passive, glial cells are active collaborators in thought, learning, and memory. If neurons are the lead actors, glia are the directors, stagehands, and producers, ensuring the performance of consciousness unfolds flawlessly, day and night. Some neurons can stretch over 3 feet long. Neurons come in many shapes, from tiny branching cells in the brain's cortex to massive cable-like structures that run the length of your body. Some of the longest begin in the spinal cord and extend all the way down to your feet. These single, continuous cells can be over 1 meter long, seamlessly linking the distant realms of brain and body. They are living wires carrying commands from your motor cortex to your muscles, or relaying sensations from your skin back to the spinal cord for processing. They depend on myelin insulation to let impulses leap along at incredible speeds. Imagine one single strand of life, stretching almost the height of a person, carrying signals in thousandths of a second. These giant neurons remind us that the brain's influence doesn't end at the skull. Its reach extends throughout the entire body, a vast living network of threads that connect your mind to your movement. The hippocampus is shaped like a seahorse. Nestled deep within the temporal lobe is a small, curved structure called the hippocampus. Its name comes from the Greek word for seahorse, because its form curls and bends like the body of that tiny sea creature. Despite its small size, it is one of the brain's most crucial regions. The hippocampus acts as the gateway for new memories. Without it, you could not form new recollections of daily life. Your past might remain intact, but new experiences would vanish almost as soon as they happened. This is what occurred with patient HM, who lost both hippocampi to surgery and could no longer create fresh memories. The hippocampus also plays a key role in navigation, helping you build mental maps of familiar places. Every memory of a street, a room, or a face passes through this seahorse-shaped organ. Swimming silently at the heart of your brain's vast ocean of thought. Your brain waves change depending on whether you are awake or asleep. The brain is never truly silent. Even at rest, electrical activity pulses across its surface in rhythmic patterns called brain waves. These oscillations shift with your state of mind. When you are alert and focused, your brain buzzes with fast, small beta waves. When you close your eyes and relax, slower alpha waves ripple through. As you drift into deep sleep, the rhythms slow further into large, rolling delta waves, marking the body's most restorative rest. In REM sleep, when dreams are vivid, the patterns become rapid and jagged again, closely resembling the awake state. Brainwaves are not just background noise. They are coordination signals, synchronizing networks so different brain regions can talk to each other. They are the tides of consciousness, changing their rhythm as you move from focus to rest, from dreaming to waking life. In their patterns lies the hidden music of the mind. Synapses can grow stronger or weaker in a matter of minutes. Every moment you learn, your brain changes. The connections between neurons, the synapses, are not static bridges. They grow more or less efficient depending on how often they are used. If two neurons fire together repeatedly, the synapse between them becomes more effective, a process known as long-term potentiation. If a connection lies dormant, it can weaken, a process called long-term depression. These adjustments can happen within minutes, shaping neural circuits in real time. This is why practice makes a skill more automatic and why disuse leads to forgetting. Synaptic change is the biological foundation of memory, habit, and learning. In this way, the brain is not a fixed machine, but a dynamic network, rewiring itself from one moment to the next. Every choice you make, every thought you dwell on, leaves a physical tracer, strengthening or fading of connections in the endless latticework of your mind. Pain is generated by the brain, not directly felt by the body. When you stub your toe, it seems obvious the pain is in your foot, but the raw signals traveling from your skin to your spinal cord are merely alarms. It is the brain that must interpret them, and it is the brain that creates the actual experience of pain. This is why amputees can feel itching or aching in a limb that is no longer there. The signals from the missing limb don't exist, but the brain continues to produce the sensation. Pain is not a direct reflection of damage, but a protective story your brain tells you, designed to keep you safe. Sometimes it overstates the threat. Sometimes it persists long after an injury has healed. Pain is real, but it is generated within, woven from your perception and expectations. In this way, pain is as much an experience of the mind as it is of the body, a reminder of how deeply the two are intertwined. MC2, but what if your brain's own expectations could trigger real, physical healing? Placebos can alter your actual brain chemistry. Belief alone holds the power to change your biology. When patients are given a sugar pill but told it is medicine, they often experience genuine relief. Brain imaging reveals why. The expectation of getting better triggers tangible changes. Endorphins, the brain's natural painkillers, are released. Dopamine levels surge, improving mood. In some instances, even the immune system responds. The placebo effect demonstrates how tightly mind and body are woven together. The key is not deception, but expectation. The belief that help is coming can initiate the healing process. This is why clinical trials must compare new drugs against placebos. The brain's internal pharmacy is potent enough to skew scientific results. Placebos don't cure all ailments, but they reveal a profound truth, that belief, trust, and perception can write themselves into our very chemistry, creating measurable changes in how we feel and function. Music activates almost every part of your brain. Few experiences engage the brain as widely as listening to music. When you hear a song, rhythm entrances, motor circuits, making you tap your foot. Melody flows through auditory pathways, while lyrics activate language centers. Emotional circuits light up, making your heart swell or ache. Memories are triggered as old songs transport you back in time. Even the prefrontal cortex gets involved, analyzing harmonies and predicting the next note. Neuroscientists sometimes say that music is a full brain workout, stimulating regions scattered across the cortex and deeper structures. This may be why music feels so profoundly powerful. It binds together movement, emotion, and thought into a single, flowing experience. A favorite song can touch nearly every part of your mind, turning electrical signals into the deep experience of beauty, nostalgia, or joy. Laughter releases a cascade of feel-good chemicals. A genuine, hearty laugh is one of the brain's simplest pleasures, yet it sets off a powerful wave of chemistry. When you laugh, your brain releases endorphins, the body's natural opioids, which ease discomfort and create a sense of warmth. Dopamine floods the reward system, sparking pleasure. Serotonin rises, smoothing out mood and lowering stress. At the same time, cortisol, the primary stress hormone, drops. This chemical mix explains why laughter feels so cleansing, like a sudden lightness spreading through your entire being. It is also deeply social. Mirror neurons make laughter contagious, prompting others to join in. Evolution may have favored laughter because it strengthens social bonds, creating trust and resilience within a group. A laugh is more than just sound. It is biology flowing through your brain in waves of chemistry designed to heal, connect, and soothe. The brain's reward system evolved to promote survival. Buried deep in the midbrain lies the mesolimbic pathway, a circuit that activates when you feel pleasure or anticipate a reward. It floods the brain with dopamine when you eat, explore, succeed, or connect with others. This system evolved as a survival mechanism, driving our ancestors to seek food, form social bonds, and reproduce. But in the modern world, this same circuit can be hijacked by addictive substances or behaviors, leading to an unhealthy chase for dopamine hits. The reward system is not just about simple enjoyment. It is about reinforcement. It teaches you what actions to repeat, what to pursue, and what to avoid. Each surge of pleasure is a signal that says, "This was important." The reward system is a compass that evolved to keep us alive, yet it is powerful enough to shape every habit, ambition, and craving that guides us through the world. Mirror neurons allow you to feel what others are feeling. In the early 1990s, researchers studying monkeys noticed something remarkable. Certain neurons in the motor cortex fired not only when the monkey performed an action, but also when it watched another monkey do the same thing. These were named mirror neurons. In humans, a similar system lets us experience a faint echo of what others feel. When you see someone smile, your own mirror neurons mimic the pattern, nudging you toward happiness. When you see a friend get hurt, you might wince because your brain simulates their pain. This neural mirroring forms a foundation for empathy, learning by observation, and even culture. It allows us to share emotional states and understand each other. In a very real sense, mirror neurons blur the line between self and others, weaving invisible threads that connect your inner world to the people around you. Your brain predicts the future moments before you act. The brain is not a passive receiver of information. It is a prediction engine, constantly forecasting what will happen next. Neuroscientists call this predictive coding. When you reach for a cup, your brain has already simulated the movement, predicting the weight, texture, and outcome before your fingers make contact. Even perception is predictive. The brain anticipates what your eyes will see a split second later and fills in any gaps if information is missing. This is why optical illusions can fool you. Your brain's prediction overrides the raw visual data. By forecasting the immediate future, the brain lets you move smoothly through the world, saving precious milliseconds. Every action, thought, or sensation is shaped not just by the present moment, but by your brain's endless rehearsal of the next moment about to arrive. Decisions often begin before you are consciously aware of them. When you decide to press a button or lift a finger, it feels like your conscious mind is in charge, but experiments suggest otherwise. In the 1980s, neuroscientist Benjamin Libet found that electrical activity in the brain readiness potential appeared several hundred milliseconds before subjects reported making a conscious decision. This implies the brain starts preparing an action before you feel you've chosen it. Later, studies have even predicted simple decisions seconds before they reach conscious awareness. What this means for free will is still debated, but it reveals that consciousness may be the final narrator, not the initial spark. Your brain prepares, your body moves, and then your awareness catches up, weaving the action into your personal story of choice. The prefrontal cortex is your brain's chief executive. Sitting right behind your forehead is the prefrontal cortex, an area that acts as the CEO of your mind. It manages planning, decision-making, impulse control, and long-term goals. This is the part of your brain that weighs risks, resists temptations, and imagines possible futures. Damage here can lead to reckless behavior, poor judgment, and difficulty managing emotions, as seen in the famous case of Phineas Gage, who survived a railroad accident that destroyed much of his prefrontal cortex. Without this region, instincts and emotions can run unchecked. With it, humans can delay gratification, build complex societies, and envision futures far beyond the present moment. The prefrontal cortex is your brain's boardroom, the place where countless inputs come together to guide the ongoing story of your life. Habits are carved deep into neural loops. Much of your daily life runs on autopilot. This is because repeated actions get encoded into loops involving the basal ganglia, a cluster of deep brain structures. When you first learn a habit like tying your shoes or driving a car, the prefrontal cortex is heavily involved. But with repetition, control shifts deeper into the brain, and the habit runs automatically. This frees up mental energy for new challenges, but it also makes habits difficult to break. Cues in your environment trigger the loop, the routine plays out, and a reward solidifies the cycle. This architecture explains why habits feel so deeply ingrained. They are written not just in behavior, but in neural circuitry, carved like deep grooves in stone. To change a habit requires carving a new groove, replacing an old pattern with a fresh one until it, too, becomes automatic. The amygdala can hijack your emotions in an instant. Deep within the temporal lobes lie two almond-shaped clusters called the amygdala. They are ancient, primal centers for emotion, especially fear. When danger appears, the amygdala can trigger a lightning-fast response before your rational brain has time to process what's happening. This amygdala hijack is why you might jump at a shadow before realizing it's harmless. The amygdala sends urgent signals to the hypothalamus and brainstem, releasing stress hormones, speeding up your heart, and sharpening your senses. It is a survival system honed over millions of years. Yet, in modern life, it can misfire, reacting with panic to non-threatening stressors, fueling anxiety or anger. The amygdala is both a protector and a potential troublemaker, a guardian that ensures survival, but sometimes at the cost of your inner peace. Stress reshapes your brain's architecture over time. Short bursts of stress can sharpen your senses and prepare your body for action. But chronic stress leaves a deeper, more lasting mark. Prolonged exposure to stress hormones like cortisol can shrink the hippocampus, impairing memory while strengthening circuits in the amygdala that amplify fear. The prefrontal cortex, which governs planning and self-control, can also be weakened, making sound decisions harder to reach. Stress literally rewires the brain's balance, tilting it toward constant vigilance and away from calm, rational thought. This reshaping helps explain why chronic stress is linked to anxiety, depression, and cognitive decline. Yet, the brain is not powerless. Practices like mindfulness, physical activity, and adequate rest can help restore balance, regrowing connections and calming the overactive circuits that stress leaves behind. Meditation can thicken parts of your cortex. For centuries, meditation was practiced as a spiritual discipline. Neuroscience now shows it physically reshapes the brain. Long-term meditators often display thicker cortical regions involved in attention, emotional regulation, and even beginners show changes after just a few weeks of consistent practice. Scans reveal increased connectivity in networks that govern focus, while activity in the amygdala, the stress center, decreases. Meditation appears to strengthen the brain's ability to manage distraction and regulate emotion, building resilience against stress. These changes are physical, visible under MRI scans. Sitting quietly and focusing on your breath may seem passive, but it sculpts the brain, much like exercise sculpts the body. Each moment of mindfulness is another repetition, another weight lifted by the muscles of your awareness. Trauma can be passed down through epigenetics. Experiences leave marks not only in memory, but also in your biology. Studies suggest that trauma can alter chemical tags on DNA, changing how genes are expressed without changing the genes themselves. These epigenetic changes can sometimes be passed to the next generation. In animals, stress in one generation can lead to heightened fear responses in their offspring. In humans, descendants of trauma survivors, from famine victims to Holocaust survivors, sometimes show altered stress hormone profiles. It is as if an echo of past suffering is carried forward in biology, priming descendants for a state of heightened alertness, while much is still being learned. Epigenetics shows that experience can ripple across generations, carried not just in stories, but in molecular whispers layered onto our DNA. Neuroplasticity means your brain is never truly fixed. For much of the 20th century, scientists believed the adult brain was largely static, fixed in its form once development ended. But research has completely overturned this view. The brain is plastic, constantly reshaping itself in response to learning, injury, and experience. New neurons are born in certain regions, and synapses rewire throughout life. Stroke patients can regain lost functions as other areas take over. Musicians show enlarged areas of the cortex related to movement and hearing. Taxi drivers navigating complex cities have larger hippocampus. The brain is not a rigid machine, but a dynamic, living organ, one that adapts, heals, and transforms across the years. Neuroplasticity is the reason personal growth never truly ends, and why every new experience leaves a physical mark on the map of your mind. The cerebellum contains most of your brain's neurons. At the back of your head, tucked beneath the larger cerebral hemispheres, sits the cerebellum, a structure whose name means little brain. Despite its modest size, it contains the vast majority of your neurons, packed into its dense, folded layers. Are around 60 to 70 billion of them, more than the rest of the brain combined. The cerebellum is best known for coordinating movement, ensuring that every gesture, step, and balance adjustment is fluid and precise. But research shows it also contributes to thought and emotion, fine-tuning mental processes just as it refines physical ones. Its dense wiring acts like an internal conductor, keeping actions and perceptions in harmony. Without the cerebellum, movements become uncoordinated, speech slurs, and balance falters. With it, your every action is shaped into grace. This little brain is proof that size alone doesn't measure importance. Some of the densest neural universes are folded into its hidden valleys. Your brain generates rhythmic patterns, like music. Neural activity is not random chaos. Across the cortex, waves of electrical firing form distinct rhythms, synchronized pulses that resemble musical beats. Some rhythms are slow, like the deep, rolling delta waves of sleep. Others are quick and sharp, like the gamma oscillations linked to focused attention and perception. These rhythms allow distant regions of the brain to coordinate, like musicians in an orchestra following the same conductor. When these rhythms fall out of sync, cognition can falter, as seen in epilepsy, where runaway electrical storms disrupt the brain's harmony. Brain rhythms are so patterned that researchers can often tell if someone is sleeping, dreaming, or concentrating just by analyzing their oscillations. In this way, the brain is both composer and performer, generating the inner soundtrack that keeps thought, perception, and action aligned in time. Hallucinations reveal how your brain constructs reality. When someone hallucinates, they may hear voices or see things that aren't really there. To the brain, however, these experiences feel utterly vivid and real. Hallucinations reveal a fundamental truth. Perception is not a direct recording of the outside world, but a construction built by the mind. Normally, sensory data and the brain's predictive models align, producing a seamless experience of reality. But when the balance is disrupted through illness, substances, or sensory deprivation, the brain's expectations can override actual input, generating sights or sounds from within. Even in healthy people, similar effects can occur. Think of hearing your phone vibrate when it didn't, or seeing faces in random patterns. Hallucinations are extreme versions of a process that is always at work. The brain actively invents your world, stitching together fragments into a coherent whole. What you perceive is not raw reality, but your mind's best guess at the truth. Optical illusions show your brain's shortcuts. When you look at an optical illusion, lines that appear bent, colors that seem to shift, shapes that look like they're moving, you're not being tricked by your eyes, but by your brain. Optical illusions expose the mental shortcuts your brain uses to interpret a complex and often ambiguous world. It guesses depth from shadows, fills in gaps in missing visual information, and predicts motion before it fully happens. Most of the time, these shortcuts serve you well, allowing for fast and efficient perception. But illusions reveal their imperfections, pulling back the curtain on the mind's inner strategies. They remind us that what we see is not a perfect reflection of reality, but a simulation crafted by neural algorithms. In daily life, these shortcuts keep you safe and quick to react. In illusions, they leave you marveling at the creativity and fallibility of the brain's construction of sight. Colors do not exist outside of your brain. To us, the world seems painted in vivid hues: blue skies, green leaves, red apples. But outside the brain, color does not exist. Objects reflect light at different wavelengths. The sensation of red or blue arises only when your brain interprets those specific wavelengths. Photoreceptor cells in your retina detect the light, pass signals along, and your brain constructs the perception of color. This means that color is not a property of the world itself, but a property of your perception. Different animals perceive different color ranges. Bees see ultraviolet patterns invisible to us, while some birds see far beyond human visual limits. Even among humans, variations in cone cells can create unique experiences of color. In a way, the world is colorless until your brain paints it in. A reminder that your reality is, at least in part, a creation within your mind. Your sense of self emerges from distributed networks. The feeling of I, of being a single, continuous self, does not come from one specific brain region. Instead, it arises from the interaction of many interconnected networks. The insula contributes to awareness of your body. The medial prefrontal cortex handles self-related thoughts. The parietal lobes help define the boundaries between self and the external world. Together, they weave the intricate fabric of your identity. Damage to these regions can produce striking changes. People may feel detached from their own body, lose the sense of ownership over their actions, or experience a fragmented sense of self. This shows how fragile and constructed the self truly is. What feels like a unified core is, in fact, an ongoing conversation among neural circuits, coordinated so seamlessly that you rarely notice the immense complexity behind the illusion of me. The default mode network activates when your mind wanders. When your brain is at rest, something fascinating happens. It doesn't go silent. Instead, a set of regions called the default mode network becomes active. This network, spanning the medial prefrontal cortex, posterior cingulate, and angular gyrus, lights up when you are not focused on the external world. It is involved in self-reflection, daydreaming, recalling memories, and imagining the future. When your mind drifts during a long walk or while staring out a window, this network is humming. It stitches together your past and future, constructing the inner narrative that makes up your sense of self. Interestingly, disruptions in the default mode network have been linked to conditions like depression and Alzheimer's. Far from being wasted time, daydreaming may be one of the brain's most essential modes, a rehearsal space where your inner life is woven together. Creativity sparks when different brain networks collide unexpectedly. Creative thought is not housed in one single place, but emerges when different networks of the brain interact. The default mode network generates spontaneous, free-flowing ideas, while the executive control network evaluates and refines them. The salience network acts as a switchboard, deciding which thoughts are worth pursuing. When these systems interact in unexpected ways, creativity flourishes. A flash of insight, a novel solution, a melody that appears from nowhere all can arise from these collisions. Studies show that highly creative people often display unusual connectivity between distant brain regions, allowing ideas to leap across conventional boundaries. Even moments of rest can prime creativity, as unfocused thought allows disparate concepts to combine. A painting, a poem, or a new invention is not the work of a single circuit, but of the whole brain, weaving together fragments into something that has never existed before. Your brain is constantly filtering out irrelevant information. Every second, your senses are bombarded with far more data than your brain can possibly process. To function, your brain must filter relentlessly. Most background noises fade from awareness. Peripheral sights blur, and countless physical sensations never reach your conscious mind. This filtering happens in the thalamus, the cortex, and even at the level of your sensory organs. Without it, you would be completely overwhelmed, paralyzed by the sheer volume of detail. Yet, this filtering is flexible. A mother can sleep through loud traffic but wake instantly to her baby's faint cry. A soldier on patrol might detect a faint sound others would miss. Your brain is like a spotlight operator, dimming the distractions so that your focus can shine where it matters most. What you perceive is not the full flood of reality, but a carefully curated stream, selected to help you navigate, survive, and find meaning in your world. Attention is like a spotlight that can only illuminate one place at a time. Although it feels like you can take in everything at once, your attention is fundamentally limited. Neuroscientists compare it to a spotlight. It can brightly illuminate one area of your mental stage, but it leaves everything else in shadow. This intense focus allows for detail and clarity, but at the cost of being blind to what lies outside the beam. Experiments demonstrate that when you concentrate deeply on one task, you can miss obvious changes elsewhere. A person in a gorilla suit walking through a scene. Attention can shift quickly, but it cannot be everywhere at once. This narrow spotlight is both a strength and a weakness. It lets you read a book, follow a single voice in a crowd, or watch a distant star. But it also means that reality is always much larger than what you are currently noticing. With vast portions of the world slipping silently past the edges of your awareness, your brain never fully shuts off, even in deep sleep. Sleep can feel like a total surrender, a plunge into nothingness, but your brain never truly switches off. Even in the deepest stages of non-REM sleep, networks hum with slow, synchronized waves. The brainstem continues to regulate your breathing and heart rate. The auditory cortex remains partially alert, ready to wake you to a significant sound. In fact, some regions stay surprisingly active, monitoring your environment for important cues: a crying baby, unfamiliar footsteps. This light vigilance is why a sudden noise can rouse you so quickly, even from the deepest slumber. Far from a shutdown, sleep is a shift into different states of activity, each with its own vital purpose. The brain's ceaseless work is why waking up feels like rejoining a world that never stopped. Even at rest, your mind continues its silent watch, standing guard while you drift through the darkness. Your brain creates internal movies while you sleep. In REM sleep, when your eyes dart beneath closed lids, your brain generates vivid experiences, dreams that play out like private films. Neural activity during REM closely mirrors that of wakefulness. Visual areas become highly active, emotional circuits flare, and the brain stitches together scenes with astonishing realism. It's as if the mind is running its own internal cinema, projecting images onto the canvas of your memory. Your body's muscles are temporarily paralyzed during this stage to prevent you from acting out the dream. Yet inside, the story feels completely real. You might fly, stumble, converse with people from your past, or wander through impossible landscapes. Dreams can be bizarre, terrifying, joyful, or absurd. They showcase the brain's creative machinery at full power, generating entire worlds without any external sensory input. In this nightly theater, the mind proves itself a master storyteller, weaving its own movies while your body lies still. Sleep deprivation can mimic symptoms of mental illness. A single night without sleep will cloud your attention, but prolonged sleep loss goes much further. After days of missed rest, the brain begins to malfunction. Concentration crumbles, mood swings intensify, and hallucinations can even appear. In this fragile state, the brain's function can resemble conditions seen in psychiatric illness, anxiety, depression, even psychosis. The reason lies in disrupted brain chemistry. Sleep loss throws neurotransmitter balance off, weakens the prefrontal cortex's control, and hyperactivates the amygdala. It leaves emotion unregulated, memory faltering, and perception unstable. Modern life often undervalues sleep, but neuroscience shows it is as vital as food and water. Without it, the very architecture of the mind begins to crumble. Sleep deprivation is not just fatigue. It is a temporary unraveling of sanity, a stark glimpse of how delicately balanced the waking brain must be. Lucid dreaming lets you take control of your dream world. On rare occasions, you might realize that you are dreaming while the dream is still happening. This state, called lucid dreaming, allows awareness to bloom within the dream itself. Lucid dreamers can sometimes shape the narrative, choosing to fly, shift the scenery, or confront fears in a safe, simulated space. Neuroscientists have found that lucid dreaming activates parts of the prefrontal cortex that are usually quiet. During REM sleep, blending self-awareness with the immersive power of dreaming. Some people train themselves to induce lucidity through reality checks or mindfulness practices before sleep. To become conscious within a dream is like waking up inside your own imagination, exploring landscapes built entirely by your mind. Though often fleeting, lucid dreams hint at the extraordinary flexibility of consciousness. They are a reminder that even while asleep, your awareness can bend and twist in ways that waking life rarely permits. Nightmares may train your brain to handle real threats. Though unpleasant, nightmares might serve a hidden purpose. Evolutionary psychologists suggest they are rehearsals for danger. By confronting fears in dreams, a predator, a chase, a fall, the brain practices response strategies in a safe, consequence-free environment. This threat simulation theory explains why many nightmares feature classic survival challenges. Nightmares also heighten emotional processing, giving the brain a chance to work through trauma or daily stress. Children experience nightmares more frequently, perhaps because their brains are still building coping mechanisms for the world. While terrifying in the moment, nightmares may ultimately strengthen resilience, acting like mental sparring matches against imagined dangers. From this perspective, even the most unsettling dreams can be seen as tools, training grounds where the mind learns to face fear and adapt, so that waking life feels a little less overwhelming. Your brain has its own internal clock for circadian rhythms. Tucked deep within the hypothalamus lies the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a tiny cluster of about 20,000 neurons that acts as your brain's master clock. This cluster keeps time through circadian rhythms, roughly 24-hour cycles that regulate sleep, hunger, hormone release, and alertness. The clock is synchronized by light. Signals from your eyes reset it each dawn. When morning light hits your retina, it tells your brain to suppress melatonin and promote wakefulness. At night, darkness triggers melatonin's release, gently guiding your body towards sleep. This internal clock is the reason you experience jet lag when it falls out of sync with your local time. Circadian rhythms are ancient, shared across plants and animals, keeping life's processes aligned with the planet's rotation. In every heartbeat and breath, you are following the rhythm of a clock older than humanity itself. Jet lag is a battle between your body's clocks. When you travel rapidly across multiple time zones, your brain's circadian clock and your body's various rhythms fall out of alignment. Your suprachiasmatic nucleus might say it's morning, while your digestive system still thinks it's the middle of the night. This internal mismatch causes fatigue, digestive issues, and mood changes. Jet lag is essentially your body struggling to synchronize countless internal clocks, from liver cells to hormone cycles with the new day-night cycle. Light is the most powerful reset signal. Morning light in your new vocation helps nudge your brain's clock forward, while darkness helps it realign at night. Eventually, your entire system resynchronizes, but the process can take several days. Jet lag reveals just how tightly your brain's timing mechanism governs your entire body. A single, small cluster of neurons dictates harmony across trillions of cells. Until it resets, you feel like a traveler stuck between two different worlds. Memory consolidation happens primarily while you sleep. When you learn something new during the day, the memory is initially fragile and easily lost. But during sleep, especially in slow wave and REM stages, your brain replays and strengthens these memory traces. Neurons in the hippocampus, the seahorse-shaped memory hub, fire in patterns that mirror the day's experiences. These bursts are believed to rehearse the memory, transferring it into long-term storage in the cortex. This process is why sleep is absolutely essential for learning. Without it, memories remain brittle and prone to fading. With it, knowledge becomes woven into the brain's larger network. Sleep is thus both a janitor and a librarian, cleaning out mental waste while carefully archiving the stories of your day. Each night, your brain is busy writing the diary of your life, filing away experiences so they can be recalled tomorrow or even decades from now. Learning right before bed can strengthen memory recall. Timing is important when it comes to memory formation. Studies show that material learned just before sleep is often remembered more clearly the next day. The reason is that these fragile new memory traces are less likely to be disrupted by new information and can more quickly enter the consolidation process during sleep. This is why reviewing vocabulary, practicing a musical piece, or studying notes right before bed can lead to noticeable improvements by morning. Your brain, already primed for its nightly work of replaying and strengthening connections, gives this freshly acquired knowledge a kind of priority status. It's as though the final thoughts of your day are etched more deeply, protected by the silence of sleep that follows. Bedtime isn't just an end to the day. It can be a bridge, carrying the day's learning safely into tomorrow. Naps function like mini brain resets. Even short naps offer powerful benefits for your brain. A nap of just 20 minutes can boost alertness, sharpen focus, and improve your mood. Longer naps that include slow wave and REM sleep can even enhance memory consolidation and problem-solving abilities. During a nap, your brain initiates many of the same processes as overnight sleep, clearing out metabolic waste, consolidating fragments of memory, and restoring chemical balance. This is why a nap can make you feel like you're waking up with a refreshed mind, clear and sharpened. Cultures that embrace daytime rest often show better overall alertness and productivity. Far from a sign of laziness, napping is a natural part of the human brain's rhythm, a purposeful pause that resets your internal systems. Like hitting the refresh button on a computer, a nap clears away mental clutter, allowing focus and clarity to return. Your brain releases DMT naturally in tiny amounts. Dimethyltryptamine, or DMT, is a powerful psychedelic compound often called the spirit molecule. While it's famous for its intense hallucinogenic effects when consumed, your brain itself produces DMT naturally in trace amounts. It's found in the pineal gland and other brain regions and bodily tissues. Its precise role is still a subject of debate. Some scientists theorize it may help regulate mood, dreaming, or perceptual states. Because of its profound effects in concentrated doses, some researchers speculate it could play a part in the vivid imagery of dreams, or even in near-death experiences, when floods of natural chemicals can dramatically alter perception. While much remains unknown, the discovery that the brain manufactures this potent compound blurs the line between normal brain chemistry and the altered states of consciousness that humans have sought for millennia. Psychedelics can temporarily dissolve your sense of self. When people take psychedelic substances like psilocybin or LSD, they often report a loss of ego, dissolving of the feeling of being a separate I. Neuroscience helps explain why. Brain imaging shows that psychedelics reduce activity in the default mode network, the system linked to self-reflection and your internal narrative. With this network quieted, the boundaries between yourself and the world can feel blurred. People describe sensations of merging with nature, with other people, or with the universe itself. While this can be disorienting, this temporary loss of self is often accompanied by feelings of profound awe, connection, or spiritual insight. Researchers are now studying these states for their therapeutic potential, finding that such profound shifts in self-perception can sometimes ease depression, anxiety, or addiction. Psychedelics remind us that the sense of self, which normally feels so solid and real, is a construct of the brain, one that can dissolve and reform in extraordinary ways. Synesthesia blends senses in unexpected ways. For people with synesthesia, the senses are not neatly separated. A sound might trigger a perception of color. A number might have a specific taste. A word might evoke a distinct texture. Neuroscientists believe synesthesia occurs when neighboring brain regions, for example, those processing sound and color, have unusual cross-connections, causing signals to spill over from one sense to another. While relatively rare, synesthesia provides a vivid window into the brain's wiring. For those who experience it, the world can feel layered with extra dimensions, where every sound or shape is clothed in additional sensation. Some artists and musicians credit synesthesia with inspiring their creativity, turning ordinary perception into multisensory art. The condition reminds us that perception is not fixed. It is built by neural connections. When those connections cross, the brain can weave a world that is richer and stranger than most of us can imagine. The brain can rewire itself to adapt to blindness or deafness. When someone loses one of their primary senses, the brain does not remain idle. It adapts remarkably. In individuals who are blind, the visual cortex often becomes active during tasks like reading Braille or even listening to spoken language, repurposed to handle touch or sound. In those who are deaf, regions normally dedicated to hearing can become more responsive to vision, enhancing visual awareness or motion detection. This rewiring, made possible by neuroplasticity, shows how incredibly flexible the brain is. Rather than letting unused areas go to waste, it reallocates them, strengthening other senses. This is why many blind people report heightened senses of hearing or touch, and many deaf individuals demonstrate sharper visual perception. The brain is not hardwired in a fixed way. It is opportunistic, constantly reshaping itself to make the most of whatever sensory inputs are available. In this way, the experience of loss can spark a profound transformation, proving that the brain is as adaptable as it is fragile. Phantom limb sensations arise from the brain's internal maps. When a limb is amputated, many individuals continue to feel it, experiencing itching, tingling, or even pain in a body part that is no longer there. These phantom limb sensations originate from the brain's map of the body, located in the somatosensory cortex. This map does not simply disappear when the limb is gone. Instead, neurons that represented the missing limb can become activated by inputs from nearby regions. For instance, touching the face of an amputee can sometimes trigger a sensation in the phantom hand, because the facial and hand regions lie next to each other on the cortical map. The persistence of phantom limbs reveals that the brain's model of the body is not instantly updated. The body you feel is not only flesh and bone, but also a neural construct, one that can linger long after the physical form has changed. Neuroprosthetics can turn thoughts into movement. Advances in neuroscience have enabled researchers to create devices that translate thought directly into action. By implanting electrodes in the motor cortex, scientists can record the patterns of brain activity that occur when a person imagines moving a limb. These signals can then be sent to a robotic arm, allowing paralyzed individuals to control it with their mind. Some neuroprosthetics bypass damaged spinal cords, directly stimulating muscles to restore movement. While still largely experimental, these technologies demonstrate the incredible potential of decoding the brain's electrical language. To think about reaching for an object and see a robotic hand move in response is to watch thought made visible. Neuroprosthetics are more than just machines. They are bridges between mind and body, offering glimpses of a future where the limitations of physical flesh are no longer the absolute limits of action. Brain-computer interfaces are beginning to decode intention. Beyond physical prosthetics, brain-computer interfaces (BC) is aimed to link the mind directly with machines. Electrodes placed on or inside the brain can pick up neural signals associated with intentions, such as the thought of moving a cursor, selecting a letter, or even imagining speech. Complex algorithms then translate these patterns into digital commands. Already, paralyzed patients have used BC as to type messages, control wheelchairs, or operate robotic limbs. Researchers hope to refine this technology for faster, more natural interaction. BC highlights the emerging possibility of merging thought with digital systems, creating seamless links between brain and machine. Though still in its early stages, this field suggests a future where communication may not always rely on hands, voice, or a screen, but on the direct language of neurons themselves. Artificial memories can be implanted in animals. In groundbreaking experiments, scientists have managed to implant artificial memories in the brains of mice. By pairing electrical stimulation of specific neurons with certain experiences, researchers have caused mice to remember events that never actually occurred. The animals later behaved as if the memory were real, avoiding locations associated with a false shock or showing a preference for a place linked to a false reward. These studies demonstrate that memory is not a fixed recording, but a pattern of neural activity that can be artificially created or altered. While still far from application in humans, this research raises profound questions about the reliability of memory. If experiences can be fabricated at the cellular level, then memory is not only fragile but also highly malleable, a story written by the brain, and one that can, in principle, be rewritten. Electrical stimulation can trigger laughter or profound sadness. When neurosurgeons map the brain during surgery, they sometimes apply tiny electrical currents to specific regions. Stimulating certain spots can cause patients to burst into laughter, even in the complete absence of anything humorous. Stimulating other areas can evoke sudden feelings of deep sadness or fear. These findings reveal how tightly emotions are linked to specific neural circuits, that joy, sorrow, or anxiety can be switched on, almost like a light. This does not make emotions artificial. Rather, it shows that our deepest feelings are physical, grounded in networks that can be nudged into action. For patients with certain neurological or psychiatric conditions, controlled stimulation may one day help rebalance mood. But it also offers a humbling perspective. What feels like the most personal part of our lives, laughter, grief, or can arise from precise sparks and circuits in the living tissue of the brain. Deep brain stimulation can treat depression and Parkinson's disease. Deep brain stimulation, DBS, is a medical technology that uses implanted electrodes to deliver carefully controlled electrical impulses directly to specific brain regions. Originally developed to reduce tremors in Parkinson's disease, DBS has restored fluid movement to patients once trapped by stiffness or uncontrollable shaking. More recently, it has been used experimentally to treat severe, treatment-resistant depression. By modulating activity in mood-related circuits, DBS can lift the paralysis of deep depression and restore a capacity for feeling and function, though not without its risks. This therapy demonstrates how precisely targeted stimulation can reshape neural activity and relieve profound suffering. It is a powerful example of the brain's fundamentally electrical nature. Carefully tuned currents can quiet storms of misfiring neurons, or reawaken circuits that have fallen silent. In the gentle, rhythmic pulse of electricity, patients can regain control of their movement, their mood, and parts of their lives that once seemed lost forever. Alzheimer's disease erodes memory by attacking neurons. Alzheimer's disease is one of the most devastating conditions that can affect the brain. It begins subtly, often with minor memory lapses, but slowly and relentlessly erodes the networks that store and retrieve your life experiences. At its core are plaques and tangles, abnormal protein, accumulations that disrupt communication between neurons and ultimately destroy them from within. As neurons die, the hippocampus shrinks, robbing individuals of their ability to form new memories.